Hey, what's up, y'all? And of course, welcome to another alternative factuals video. And once again, this video is going to be a Black Lightning video. Now, for the most part, I know I'm not really expecting too many views when it comes to this video, at least not right away or as much as it possibly could be, because Black Lightning is kind of off season right now. But we do know there's going to be a season 3. So we're going to be discussing a little bit of the Markovian government in Black Lightning and the importance of Markovia and its representation towards, I guess, the whole metahuman green light baby situation, as well as what's going on and why is it relevant towards Black Lightning in the first place. But before I dive into anything specific like that or those kind of details, please be sure to like, share, and of course subscribe. I'll leave your comments down below. Let me know any theories, what you're thinking about the TV show. If you're excited for season 3, anything you feel is going to happen, let me know. And without further ado, let's kind of just dive into this. So we're going to kind of bypass the whole entire season 2 kind of thing, and we're going to just basically rush to the end. So at the end of season 2, we already had Agent Odell from the ASA, who was overseeing the Green Light Baby project. He walked up to the Pierce family and he wanted them to continue working together, while also revealing that he knew their identities. Remember, he initially did not trust when it came to Lynn and how experienced she was with metahumans. And one of the reasons why she was so experienced when it came to metahuman genes, or the metagene, for example, is because 1, she was married to Black Lightning, someone who was a metahuman. 2, she had 2 kids who were metahumans, so she had even further experience on how to deal with their powers as well as how their abilities work, which made her kind of this expert when it came to the metagene in the Black Lightning universe, CW universe, whatever you want to call it. Now, due to the whole situation with the whole green light experiments and the release of the drug on the streets, Freeland is now the largest, or one of the largest populations of metahumans in the free world, that is besides Markovia. And according to the show, Markovia does not want another country or anybody to really have as much metahumans as they do. So of course this season, which I did a previous video about a little while ago, is going to be about the Markovian metahuman war, which is basically Markovian agents or other metahumans from Markovia are going to come to Freeland, attempting to either take the metahumans out of Freeland or kill them and take them out, so that way they can maintain their power in the world. Now, for those of you who don't know, Markovia is really relevant when it comes to DC Comics in general, and for those of you who are watching Young Justice and those kind of episodes, you'll kind of understand why, especially season 3 of Young Justice, The Outsiders. But also, the reason why Markovia is extremely relevant to Black Lightning is because Markovia is actually a government that fictional government in the DC universe that is housed in Europe. And the Outsiders was a group of superheroes, that consisted of Geoforce, Black Lightning, Batman, Metamorpho. I'm pretty sure there's some other people I'm forgetting. I think Perenna was actually on there for a short period of time. It might have been like 2 or 3 issues, but it was a team of heroes that Batman helped put together because that was his go-to team for them to deal with a lot of situations that the Justice League could not quite take care of on their own. And just so you understand like how relevant and how long a lot of this stuff took place, Batman and the Outsiders, or the Adventures of the Outsiders, actually was something that had taken place between 1983 through all the way to 1987. And then also the first introduction of the Outsiders was first introduced in November of 1985. So they have a long history when it comes to Geoforce and Black Lightning, not just in Young Justice, even though they did kind of change the dynamic of that relationship due to the age difference, but it is extremely important. Now, I think this season they're going to introduce some form of Geoforce in the season because of the type of relationship that they had. It was initially they were teammates, and then they had a very big falling out, and then it was extremely strenuous from that point on because of that whole big falling out. They had a phenomenal fight in the Outsiders, and that was when Black Lightning first summoned, well, not first summoned, but that was when he summoned his Black Lightning out of rage and anger, and then he just refused to get that angry throughout the rest of the fight, which ultimately kind of, I guess, he mentally nerfed himself, because he still saw Geoforce as a friend, but I'm not going to dive into that. Now, the Markovian government they had their hands in a lot of things, mostly metahuman trafficking, and not even just in Young Justice. In general, they have a lot of metahumans coming in and out of that country for many different reasons, and even though it's a form of monarchy, it's kind of relatively unstable when it comes to their government. There's always someone trying to usurp power in their nation for some reason, so I can only imagine why, but they never really get too specific about that government and why they kind of seem to have this sliding door effect when it comes comes to those who are in charge or whoever's trying to rule, and people trying to take over in general. But one thing we can actually definitely see for season 3 is that even though they're probably not going to go to Markovia for a fact, well, not for a fact, but that's just my slang saying for a fact, but regardless, even though they're probably not going to go to Markovia to go fight these people, the Markovians or whoever metahumans that they decide to send over here are probably going to come to Freeland, and then you're going to have various different metahumans fighting them. So I'm pretty sure we're not going to see just Black Lightning fighting them. We're not going to just see Lightning and Thunder fighting them. We're probably going to see a lot of different heroes, as well as the return of Khalil in season 3. Now, remember, a lot of us presumed he was, well, we presumed he was dead. And we had no reason to really doubt that until we saw the episode where the ASA, or Agent Odell, basically had his body on ice in cryogenic freeze. So what I think can happen is right before he passed away, or possibly before those agents came in and then locked Lynn out in terms of trying to use their technology in order to help preserve him, what I think they did was they probably made his pulse look like he was dead. And then Lynn and everybody else would think he's dead, his mother as well. They might probably wipe his memory or do something like that, and then basically restore him, because even though that cybernetic implant that was in his spine was ripped out by Tobias, remember, the reason why they could not do surgery on him and the reason why they couldn't sedate him was for the simple fact that once he was enhanced by whatever drug or whatever means that they used to give him his abilities and strength, it didn't necessarily disappear. The spinal implant gave him the ability to walk, but whatever was inside that spinal implant or whatever they inserted into his bloodstream made his blood poisonous by nature, and he actually managed to maintain those abilities for the most part. Now, obviously, he did not have enhanced healing or anything like that, or maybe he could have survived a little longer, but he still had some form of abilities even after the spinal implant was ripped out. So I'm pretty sure the ASA can create something similar to that, allowing Khalil to walk, which would basically bring back the return of Painkiller. So that would be very interesting, especially because we already know that Jennifer, her emotional state would be all over the place, especially she's already kind of upset, and season 3 is going to take place pretty shortly after that, so she's still dealing with the grief, the loss of Khalil. And then imagine you're fighting and you're dealing with all these Markovians, and then over a sudden you see your ex-boyfriend who you thought was dead, and then he actually is alive, but he doesn't realize who you are. It's going to be one of those Winter Soldier situations, someone who is really close to one of the primary characters, and then they're going to look at you like, who are you? I don't know you. But they might wipe his mind, they might not, but Khalil is definitely making a return, and I'm pretty sure he's going to fight in that metahuman war, because even though he didn't have any extravagant abilities, he still had enhanced strength, he had enhanced reflexes, and for the most part, his abilities and the poison or the type of, I guess, anesthetic that was in his blood was highly effective against multiple people, and he was no joke. He could actually take out a group of 10 or 12 people single-handedly, so he is still very much a problem. But let me know what you guys think about Black Lightning season 3. What are you expecting for the upcoming season? I'm a little excited. I think season 1 and 2 was pretty solid for the most part. I didn't really enjoy the fact that Tobias actually carried over into the second season as a villain. I kind of wanted them to introduce him in the first season, put him on the back burner for the second season, and then they could have used the third season as an opportunity to introduce him with different means, or maybe he uses magic, or maybe he's using just something else to achieve power, because Tobias in the comics, as well as just in general based on his personality, will do just about anything to achieve absolute power, and it doesn't matter at what cost. No matter how much money, he will do whatever it takes, and he will take out whoever he has to in order to get where he feels like he needs to be. But besides that, I enjoyed season 1 and 2. Phenomenal show. Very much, I'm a person of color, so I enjoy seeing stuff like that, a black superhero, black family, people thriving, people of color, my kings and queens thriving out here. I like seeing stuff like that. It's a really well written show, and then it's just phenomenal how those kids really have a connection with him, and I can relate to it to a certain level as well. It's not too far exaggerated when it comes to a lot of the aspects of the show, besides the powers obviously, but for the most part, I can definitely get on board with it. But let me know what you think about season 3. Any predictions, anything you feel might pop up. Maybe you want to tell me the future of Khalil, or maybe some characters you would like to see introduced. I know a lot of people are still going crazy about Static Shock, and they want to see him kind of being introduced in the show and then kind of getting his own spin-off series in Dakota or something like that. But let me know all that stuff. But if you're new to the channel, please be sure to like, share, and of course subscribe. Leave your comments down below about everything Black Lightning related, and I hope to see you later on. Peace out.